We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
It's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's good, bro?
I got a question for you, man.
What's up?
Okay, listen. I saw the boy Offset been out and about publicly with all kind of different chicks, but specifically here lately, the chick that they've kind of linked him up with has been your boy 6ix9ine's baby mom's or ex-girlfriend, right? And I think that he was just people was like, yo, she was kind of familiar. Like he may have smashed that back in the day. Whatever
about,
back in the day
Selena?
is, he's been married. Huh?
Is it Selena?
No,
Okay.
no, not Selena. But here's what I'm wondering though, right? What I'm wondering is this though, bro. What if Offset is about to become the game? We always link the game up to everybody because here's the thing about it, right? If he's already been married before, right?
Right.
And they're formally going through a divorce, and he probably is thinking like, nope, I've been there. I'm done. I got my kids. I'm good to go when it comes to that aspect of what people would perceive to be as a checklist item in life. I've done it. I gave it a shot. Wasn't my thing. He's going to be a bachelor forever. So my question then is that he's younger than the game by like at least 10 years, right? So I'm wondering, is it where you're going to see, because Cardi, I don't think that you're going to see her as out with different guys, right? She ain't going to do like Megan. Like Megan seems like she, like she's very casual when it comes to who she's out and about with, seen with. But I don't think that Cardi's going to be like that because she got kids. But I don't think that Offset's going to matter. So is he going to be hip hop's most eligible bachelor, bro?
Nah. Because to me, the game is the one that swoops in, right, and scoops you up when you fresh off the market, where Offset has always been linked with different people, which is possibly, allegedly, why they're going through their divorce. So now I don't look at him and say eligible bachelor. I think that people is probably going to look at the smash and pass for him, where I feel like I understand that we link game with stuff like that, but game seems like to be the one to swoop in and get you after you done broke up.
I think listen, though, this is what I think. I think, bro, that I got a feeling I'm willing to put my money now on Offset, bro. I think, listen, it wouldn't tell this is the thing I think. So, okay, let's get the music going. I'm gonna tell you about this. Tell you where I'm going with this.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys is doing their thing. It's Kennedy. So let me tell you where I'm going with this, right? So this past week, since we last potted, bro, the we saw the untimely death of Rich Homie Quan. And listen, I think that it was a huge, huge thing um, for the city of Atlanta, primarily because, for one, how young Rich Homie Quan was. I think he was probably barely 35.
Mhm.
But I think the other part about it is that Rich Homie Quan was still he came on the music Atlanta, kind of carved his own kind of unique sound and everything like that. And one of the things that heard anyway was that in light of Takeoff having already passed, Offset Quavo hasn't been talking since they had the group break up, and I
Mhm.
think the with Quan, somebody said no, that kind of had inspired them to kind of at least start back talking. Now, Quavo has been one of the guys who he might be out with different girls. He's like, hey, I'm single, I can do whatever I want to do, whatever though, right? Doc, it wouldn't surprise me if we get an Offset and Quavo album sometime in the future. Not gonna say near future, but I think that it won't ever be Migos without all three of them. But I can see them doing their own thing. But I also can see that meaning that Offset is back to doing the single Migos. Like, he is also one of those guys who is just he's on the eligible bachelor list now. Um, for hip hop guys though, bro, I can see him being a catch
Yeah.
to people.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't agree with the catch thing. I mean, I think he gonna be out there doing his thing, but eligible bachelor means like people is in line waiting to get with him. I don't see that being it. Nah.
If okay, my thinking is that if girls are already knowingly in relationships with him while he's married, then him being completely available, right, makes him that much more accessible.
Yeah, but the stigma behind him is the fact that he ain't good in relationships, is what I'm saying. So again, smash and pass, cool. Relationship, eligible bachelor, like you trying to lock him down? Nah.
Is that what is that what eligible bachelor means?
That's
Someone who's potentially gonna.
eligible, right? Eligible bachelor. They have a show called The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Everybody's in line trying to get with this person, but nah. I think if you trying to have a good fun weekend, a good time, yeah, he's the one. But eligible bachelor, nah.
I thought that could still, maybe I looked at it differently, right? I thought that, when you're an eligible bachelor, this is somebody who you're eligible to just be public in any kind of relationship with. I guess I say that to say this. I guess that I'm just kind of thinking like, all right, well now he can be, if he's smash and pass, he's out there, whatever. I think that what I fully expect is that he would have more public relationships, whatever they are. I think that he'll just be like, I don't care no more. I'm out here.
Yeah, but uh, I think the difference that you and I are having, right, is because I don't think he's ready for no relationship. I think he's just gonna be like, I think he's gonna be out and about doing his thing, and that's, I mean, yeah, he can be public with anybody, but relationship, I don't think that's where it's at. So when you say bachelor eligible, like saying as in you ready to be down with somebody, and I don't think that's where he at.
And listen, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm rooting for Offset on this one, bro. We love some Cardi on the show, but I'm
I,
rooting for Offset on this one.
yeah.
I'm rooting for Offset, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think that Offset, like this is the thing about it. There are a lot of guys who will get married, and then if after an untimely, unexpected divorce, they might just say, "Hey, I ain't doing it again, bro. I gave it a shot. I'm not getting married ever again."
Well,
And when that happens, those guys tend to go George Clooney, be Bachelors, Brad Pitt, be the rest of their life. You could see them go Bachelors, and not just that. You always see them with top of the top tier, right? I think that Offset is about to be like, Let me show y'all boys how to do this thing.
Well, see, while you out here rooting for Offset, I'm waiting for a post baby Cardi. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for them thirst traps like the J Lo thirst traps is popping out.
I saw the J Lo thirst traps, and listen, they're impressive. They're very impressive, and I can certainly see why. If you had to be reminded, if you were one of her exes, I can
Right.
see why it would make you want to double back. I totally
Yeah.
can see why it would make you double
Right.
back.
But at the same time, you know what that's hitting for. Like
You know what
you
it's hitting for.
you know the crazy that come with it. So
I do wonder now when when the Cardi thirst trap pictures start to come out.
mhm.
Is that boy Offset gonna be like, wait? Or is he gonna because if he's been publicly been out and about, I'm gonna assume that in his mind he's been checked out a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that for him, I don't think that he would even be as but I'm gonna be honest with you though, bro. I know that I do think that women have to I respect a woman who is more careful with what she puts out there to the public post marriage, right?
Mhm.
Uh, post breakup, right? She might just have a little bit more resolve on how she puts it on out there, though, right? But I don't think that guys are necessarily held to that same level of standard, right? And
Right.
so because of that, though, bro, I'm expecting this boy Offset to go on a record run, bro. He is about to do some unprecedented numbers out here, though, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think like I said, I definitely think he gonna be doing his thing. We ain't even doubting that. So yeah,
I'm
yeah,
rooting for. I'm rooting for him.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, bro, the hot topic of what everybody is talking about right now, of course, is football season, and we'll get into all of the different things in football season. But the hot topic right now is Tyreek Hill getting drug up out of this up out of his car. And I kind of just for a quick recap for those that aren't keeping up. Basically, on game day, Tyreek Hill was headed to the Miami stadium and got pulled over allegedly for reckless driving and speeding. Uh, Cops asked him to get out of the car, and then conversation ensued. Eventually, the cop then yanked him out of the car. Fast forward even more than that, ended up with him, you know, and some teammates in handcuffs, and then him face down on the ground, with him calling for his manager. And then we get the football game. He balls out after the game. They interview him. He basically gives the recap of what he knows, and basically is very and even says like, "Listen, I need to kind of review everything that happened before I make a statement." But ultimately, like, like, hey, what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? What would have happened in this particular situation? Uh, so with just that brief recap, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Okay, so this is the thing. This is okay. I think everything about it was so unnecessary.
Hmm.
Everything about every aspect of it was so unnecessary. And this is the thing. If I'm gonna play both sides of the coin, and I don't like the waffle, but I thought that both parties acted very entitled. And I say that to say this. So I think when I saw the video, just when you look at it on the surface, when you say, "Oh yeah, this boy got snatched up by this car and he's on his stomach in front of a $500,000 car, black guy," my head immediately goes to, okay, they profiling them, they doing blah 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 blah, right? But then it's just like, all right, I thought that what was wrong in terms of the entitlement was the police of it felt like, I'm not gonna lie, it felt like Tyreek was acting like he would like his sense of entitlement was above giving the police any kind of respect on their professional level, right? And that's not to say that you have to respect police officers. I think that that's one thing. I think that the police officer probably was thinking like, okay, now he getting borderline respectful, like he disrespectful, like he doesn't respect my authority in this situation whatsoever. Fine, that's all cool. Right, but I think that the one thing it was so the reaction. I don't think that to me it didn't seem like Tyreek was ever a threat. Like how threatened do you really feel like somebody's going to be to you in a $500,000 car? Right. That's so that it was wrong. Everybody to me was involved. Wrong. It could have been avoided, but I think that the part that really got me as well is that if I'm honest as well, um, felt like Tyreek kind of had a little bit of that arrogance that, you know, how we always talk about when people say, "Oh, you don't know who I am." Like it felt like it had a little bit of that in there to me as well. And that to me is what I think that really incited the police officer to go over the top. So it's like it's to me the whole thing was something that I think could have been avoided. I thought that the whole thing was totally over the top, but everybody was over the top. The police were over the top. Tyreek Hill was over the top. It's just one of those things to me to where it's just like I don't know how you say there's any teachable moments there because but the police are trained for those scenarios. A civilian isn't. So I would expect more resolve from a police officer. So if I was going to say more, who's more wrong, I'm going to say a police officer because he's trained for that scenario. But I just think that it was uncalled for, everything about it to me, though, bro.
Okay, so I'm kind of on the same page with you, meaning that I think that all things can be true within this scenario. Yes, more of the blame I do think it is on the police, only because of the fact they did not do anything to de-escalate the situation. Because at a point, Tyreek Hill even calmed down. I mean, I'm sure he's embarrassed. Uh, he's pulled over in front of his work, in front of his job. He got teammates driving by seeing it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on. Um, and he is a black man, expensive car in Miami. Uh, but the same token, it's the way that the cop was amped, right? Because nobody else was that amped but him, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like while because one cop came in hot when he was like there was two that came in hot originally, like, look, roll your window down or we gonna snatch you out, right? And I don't think they were wrong in saying that, because if it had have been a civilian and one of us had to said the same thing, I don't think it would have escalated like that. But I do, what I'm saying is I do think similar results would have happened had you not complied with what was going on, because all you had to do was provide your driver's license, your registration, your insurance, got the ticket, you would have been on your way. But it did escalate and it started out with Tyreek responding the way that he did. At the same token, like you said, as a trained professional, someone who's supposed to serve and protect, you are trained to be able to de-escalate situations and not amp it up the way it was. And that's why I feel like he was put on administrative duties, because of the fact, in that and I commend the police for releasing the footage, because they didn't, they released all 100 hours or whatever the case may be of the footage, and we did get to see unadulterated film of that, and I thought that definitely it showed that the police were wrong in the way he was escalated, because I mean he was just snapping at everybody, bro. And so
This is the thing I hate. I hate. The thing that I hate the most about police is when I feel like a police is getting in their feelings personally, right?
yeah,
It's like, to me that's what it was. And see, for them, but I'm not a police officer, right? So I can't say how, if somebody who's, what I'm saying, like if somebody who's in this fly Ferrari and he's coming across, like if I pulled you over, right, for reckless driving in a speed limit. If I say you're going 25 miles over the speed limit, I pull you over and you coming to me like, skip my ticket and beat it. And I might feel some kind of way about that, though, right? So I mean, so I can't say what I would have done. I've never been in that scenario, but I think that could it have been avoided? Yes, and I think it could have been handled differently by everybody that was involved there, though.
but Charles, you're still in control, right? You still have
True.
you still the more you disrespect me, the higher this ticket gonna be, right? Like there are things that could have been done, and I understand we don't know what happened in this cop day prior to this, or what other situations he might have been in.
Nor should that matter. Nor should that matter,
It
right?
should it shouldn't, because of the training. I mean, I get all of that, but the point is, at a certain point, the mood shifted. Him talking about quit crying, him talking about oh, you ain't think about that when your ears didn't have surgery when we was telling you to do whatever earlier. Like all of that missed me with all of that. You know what I'm saying? You already got me in handcuffs sitting on the sidewalk. Why are we still where is the threat from that point? Right. So all of that, I think, like I said, all things can be true within this particular situation because this could have been very easily avoided had he just provided the information and got his ticket and moved on. And yeah, but now we're here because at the end of the day, we're looking at the professional, which is the police.
It is one of those things, though, man, that I think that it's another one of those reminders as a black parent, right, of that conversation that you'll eventually have to have. Because it's one thing I think that I know how I could manage that with myself. The one thing that's different is that my son isn't ready for that scenario, right? So it's almost having to tell him, like, all right, listen, no, man, but like, for that scenario, the most important thing is to get you home. So do what you got to do to get home, right? So I think that it is a reminder though, man. And here's the thing about it. I think that when he says, well, what if I wasn't like Tyreek Hill, right? What could have happened then though, right? And part of that just still made me just feel like, all right, bro, you were still kind of coming across like you don't know who I am. I didn't, but for some reason, I get if Tyreek Hill was just not in any wrong, if he was just pulled over for not speeding and they just randomly profiled him, and then all this, but that sense of entitlement because he is Tyreek Hill, and then to say, well, what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? That just doesn't quite go to me though,
Yeah,
bro.
I didn't get the sense of entitlement on that, but I understand what you're saying. I didn't at that moment because again, when I saw the what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill, none of the information had come out yet as far as like the way that he was treated or what exactly happened. It was just all, hey, I was pulled over but prior to and I was, put in handcuffs. So we didn't know his part in the beforehand. So to me, I didn't get the whole "Do you know who I am?" And he never did say that, and so I give
Yeah,
him.
yeah. He never said that, but like I just got the feel
Yeah, it was implied.
from it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
I
outside
don't
of
know.
that incident, man, football in general this weekend was popping. Uh, Obviously, let's get the hate out the way. The boy Dak got paid before the game, and seemed like he was happy about his payment, so he balled out. Well,
Yep,
I wouldn't say he balled out, but I didn't watch the game, but Dallas did win in a great
yep.
fashion. And the conversation wasn't really about Dallas. It was more so like, bruh, Cleveland played all this money for Deshaun Watson, and where was he at? You know what I'm saying? Like,
So put that in context as well. Dak got paid 240 million. Deshaun
200
Watson got 230 guaranteed dollars.
what
So I think that
Dak is guaranteed
so while is Dak's all 240 guaranteed?
230 is guaranteed.
230. So right. So here's the thing about it. So in essence, while Dak's annual value of his contract is the most, Deshaun Watson still has the most guaranteed dollars on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong in that.
You
But listen though, man.
the only reason why I will say you're wrong is because when I say wrong, relative term. What I'm saying is
Right,
they restructured Deshaun Watson's contract recently. Plus, he was injured last year, so the contract did change a
right,
bit.
right there. So but the annual value of his contract changed with those days. The total amount of guaranteed dollars, they move some things around, but 230 is 230. But I think the thing that gets me is this, right? Here's this is still one of the problems that I have, but the problem that I don't have, right? Okay, so me personally, right? I okay, I'm not gonna count anybody's pocket, but let's just talk about it. We're talking, right?
Right.
For me, I have a problem with anybody in the league making anything more or close to Pat Mahomes. Because to me,
That's the standard.
Pat Mahomes. Not only is he the standard, there's no the second best person is probably either Lamar or Joe Burrow. And the second place is far. It's far. And when listen, I just couldn't help but think, right, that even on that play when Lamar played against the Chiefs,
Mhm.
and when Lamar threw the touchdown at the end to tie it up, and the ball toe was right out of bounds, and it was like, oh, he just was that much. In my heart of hearts, I just don't think that happens with Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes just gets it done. So to me, it's like this is the thing I think is crazy. I think that Pat Mahomes has lost to Joe Burrow more than any other quarterback, but Lamar beats Joe Burrow easily. And then Pat Mahomes beats Lamar easily, right? So it's, they have this little circle. But even then, I don't think that neither one of those are close to Pat Mahomes. And I root for Lamar hard. And I like Joe Burrow. But there's Pat Mahomes, and then there's a second tier below him. But even with that said, though, right? I think the part that's hard for me to wrap my brains around when it comes to Dak is that I do understand that with Dak, there is a premium that comes with being the Dallas Cowboy quarterback. I
Mhm.
totally get that, right? Because I think that there is a pressure that's on him that's unlike any other quarterback that's in the league. But I also think that I have part of me feels like I have an issue with a guy or any guy making more than Pat Mahomes, one, but also guys that are top five paid quarterbacks that have never won Super Bowls. And in most cases, only two of them have actually gone to a Super Bowl, right? Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow. So when I see Trevor Lawrence getting paid, and when I see Dak to me has the worst case of why he would be the top quarterback. And I say that only because yeah, he's gotten to he's got them, he got all these numbers. But Dak has had time after time after time. He's had more opportunities, right? He's been given more weapons and more resources than any other quarterback, though, bro. And so I'm looking at him and I'm thinking like that he's the highest paid highest paid player ever. And the resume just doesn't match it to me, right? And so make your money. I'm all for you getting all the money that you can make, though, bro. But at some point, though, right? Like, can you imagine how much Dak would make if he would have won one Super Bowl, bro?
I mean, I get it, but with everything that you just said, all that, the stats, the weapons, the Pat Mahomes comparisons, the Joe Burrows, the all everything that you said, Dallas still could not afford not to pay Dak. The thing is,
Facts.
and they got
He had
one
all
more.
the leverage.
He did have all the leverage because who you gonna turn it over to Cooper Rush? You gonna
Trey
turn
Lance.
you gonna turn over to Trey Lance? Trey Lance, I watched him in preseason. He ain't ready still. He still ain't ready. So what I'm saying is, if you're telling me that you are a quarterback and a coach away from winning a Super Bowl, what are we doing? What are we doing? Because what
How
other
long have they been a quarterback and a coach away?
I understand. I
9 years.
understand. Right. I understand what you're saying. But this year, you still have to assume that these players are still within their prime. Michael Parsons and CD, they're still in their prime to where you can make moves this year. Like you can't
And just entering their primes at that. Barely entering their
100%.
prime.
So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, what other options do you have at quarterback right now in order to put them in a position to still play at a high level right now?
I would say, listen, this is my thing. I only think that Dak, this is gonna sound crazy. Okay. I only think Dak is overrated because he plays for the Cowboys, right? I think that I think that Kirk Cousins isn't overrated. I think that Kirk Cousins, they should everybody should be thinking Kirk Cousins, by the way. But I think that Dak Prescott is Kirk Cousins, but just drafted by the Cowboys. It's very similar numbers, right? But even with that said, Dak isn't a scrub because I would take Dak right now for the Saints over Derek Carr,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I it's not that. I just think that him being on the Cowboys is what overrates him to me.
Yeah. So let's move on because we got a lot of football to talk about. Did you watch the late game yesterday?
I did and didn't learn nothing.
Well, no, I was going to ask, do you think that it was just the 49ers that did good or Aaron Rodgers didn't do enough?
So this is my thing. I personally thought that the game went exactly how I thought. And when I say I didn't learn nothing, I'm saying I didn't. It's not that I didn't think Aaron Rodgers didn't do enough. He did what I thought he was going to do. Right. I think that the Jets are what I thought they would be. Like what they put out there was exactly like. Listen, if I would have called the score, I would have at least said I think that the 49ers would win by at least 15. The reason why I say that is this: to say set Aaron Rodgers aside. Right. When you set Aaron Rodgers aside, Nathaniel Hackett is their offensive coordinator. And I just don't think that he's that good. I think that he is still just Aaron Rodgers' guy, right? And so I just don't think that Aaron Rodgers with Nathaniel Hackett is enough to over to compensate for the 49ers offense. They loaded. And so I think that when you talk about it getting to a scoring contest, I just don't think that the Jets have I don't think that they're that. So I don't know what people were expecting, but I expected the game to go exactly how it went. It's just that, maybe the surprise was that they did it without Christian McCaffrey though, bro.
Yeah, I will say I think the training camp issue with Aaron Rodgers definitely is showing right now. That they're a couple of weeks away from getting onto some timing issues that they might
Sure.
have had. I don't think the Jets are washed by any stretch of the means. I just feel like they are definitely a couple of weeks back, not as prepared as some of these other teams are that did get the chance to work with their personnel through training
Let
camp
me
and
ask
this and other. What's up?
let me ask you this though. So some people pick the Jets. Some people have the Jets as a Super Bowl team. Some people have the Jets as the winners of the AFC East. Would you pick the Jets over the Dolphins?
The Dolphins didn't look that great. They kind of came in strong toward the end of the game. They struggled a little bit. I do think the Dolphins are ahead of the Jets. Like if they were to play today, I think the Dolphins would win. But no, I don't have them over the Dolphins. But I don't think the Dolphins are that great either, though.
Do you have them over the Bills?
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen them play, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, so the Bills lost Diggs, right, at wide receiver. So they technically are walking around without a number one. They just got Josh Allen and a couple other guys. Like I said, I guess my thing is this though. I just don't think enough. Like I know that the Jets have a great defense, and I don't know how great their defense really is. Like I know they got Sauce, and I like Sauce a lot. And they got a couple of guys as well, but I don't know, man. It's just I feel like they're hyped because they're the Jets, though, bro. And people want these New York teams to be so good. Now the flip to that is the Giants, they in trouble, bro. Because Daniel Jones is trash on Tuesday, bro. He is horrible though, man. I always thought that he wasn't good.
Mhm.
I didn't think he was horrible though, bro. But now he's trash.
Yeah, I didn't see them either, but I did see the memes. I seen how the fans was dogging him out as he was walking out or whatever the case may be. So yeah, the Giants is looking bad. How did the Saints do? Because I really did not watch the game or didn't even look at highlights or nothing. I don't even know who they played.
Okay, so listen, bro. We played against the Panthers,
Okay.
and we dog walked the Panthers, right? And listen, here's the thing I think that's crazy to me. I'm gonna go, and this might be too early to say this though, bro. I think Bryce Young is gonna be a bust, bro. I think that Bryce Young is I think that Bryce Young's career will be less than like Marcus Mariota.
Hmm.
I think that he's going to be like he was the number one pick. So I think when you think of all the quarterbacks who were top 5 picks, Zach Wilson, I think he's going to be like. Listen, Bryce Young is so bad to me, right? That if the Carolina Panthers got the number 1 or number 2 pick, I can see them picking Shador Sanders and just
Doing how the Bears
Zach
did.
Wilson him. Yes. But the way they did, like the way that the Jets did Zach Wilson,
Hmm.
I could see them because listen, you know how when we were saying that the Bears wasn't putting the line around
Justin.
Justin Fields, I don't think that the Panthers line is any better. It's horrible, right? But outside of that, though, man, I think that Bryce Young put on some weight and he still looks little, bro. He looks like a kid out there. He looks smaller than Shador Sanders to me. And
Yeah.
I just think that what's crazy about it is I just don't know if he has the arm strength to make all of the throws and he doesn't have the size to take the punishment to me either though. But I think he's gonna be. I think that it's one of those scenarios where you were just drafted to the wrong franchise under the wrong circumstances, and I think that he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a bust though, man. It's early.
How did Carr look though?
Okay, so bro, Carr looked decent, and
Okay.
this is the thing about it. Carr looked decent, but Carr. This is what I tell people all the time. So we got my boy Shaheed, and he made the Pro Bowl, right? He's our running back out the backfield. He also does special teams. He's the only person that Derek Carr throws the ball to most of the time, right? So he throws, and he always has a matchup. He's always lit. He comes out of the backfield and he's matched up with a linebacker. He's fast. So they throw it over the top to him. Almost all the big plays are to him. We got Chris Olave out there who they never throw the ball to a lot. Like they don't. I remember when we had what's my dude who was out there stealing money from us for Michael Thomas. And Drew Brees would always force it into him because he would find a way to get off on 10 yards on the slant. And it was always a first down. I think Chris Olave can be like that, but I don't think that Derek Carr looks like that. Now, we had some pick sixes and we've had a lot of things, oh man, but Carr looked decent, but it's still like I think that if Carr played the way he would have played against another team, we'll see how he played against Dallas Cowboys. Matter of fact, we played them on Sunday, and that will tell me what this game will tell me exactly what I need to know about how the season will go for Derek Carr.
Yeah. I know you didn't ask, but you obviously see my Bears hat. So my Bears did not look great. We did not look great. Well, I'll say Caleb didn't look great. He could not throw anything. The defense like flustered him. He was out of sorts. He did not look. It was 17-0 the start of the game. And they had whatever little young dude from Tennessee had him looking like a superstar, right? And then we just all of a sudden figured it out and it clicked and the defense just went ham. I'm talking about special teams did their thing, defense did their thing. Only thing Caleb really did was threw a 2-point conversion. That was it. Other and they if like any of his bonus money, he got to take care of the defense and the special teams because they won that game for him. And I don't think that's going to be indicative of how his season is going to be, but he definitely struggled, especially at a home game. He struggled hard week one. So we skated by. A win is a win. That's one down, but we got to look better because we can't, obviously now with Green Bay having the quarterback issue, if we can, play them while Love is out because he'll be out for about 4 to 6 weeks, or a little bit longer, whatever. MCL strain. So yeah, we did not look good defensively. We showed up. So yeah,
Hey, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I thought that I this is gonna sound crazy, but he played how I thought he was gonna play. I think that to me, this is the way I look at it. I think that once you play those first games as a rookie, it's very rare that you come out smacking people on top of the head as a rookie, right? I think that you come out, you really get the real speed of the game, not the preseason speed of the game. I think that NFL coaches give you real defenses so the disguises are better. I think that everything about it tells me that now he may be. I'd expect that if he is what everybody thinks he is or would be, that he'll make adjustments. But in terms of the first game of it, I think that I think that most rookies come out and play exactly how he played, though, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that seeing that is the exception.
Yeah, but I do think he is definitely in a better position though. Like he's not coming in like Justin, right, where he's going to be running for his life the entire time. I do think our offensive line did get a little bit better, and I do think that Chicago really is a decent team this year that can easily win 10 games if we, lock in and play the way that I believe we can. I like, previous years I would tell you from the jump, like, no, I ain't expecting nothing. I do expect us to win some games this year. And like I said, I really don't think he's going to struggle like this long term. What's up?
I'm gonna tell you this. I just thought about this. If we beat the Cowboys, I won't say nothing bad about Derek Carr for the rest of the year.
Okay.
We can lose every single game for the rest of the season by 20 points. And it don't matter how. If the Saints beat the Cowboys, for the rest of I won't say nothing bad about Derek Carr. And matter of fact, even if he plays bad, I'll only talk about the good things that he did. If they pull this game out, though, bro, because I think we played in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah.
And I say that because usually Dallas, they're solid at home, right? And this is the bet that the reason why I don't expect much is because one of Dallas's strengths is their defensive line, and one of our weaknesses is our left tackle, right? And so I don't expect anything that I just think that the Panthers didn't have one of those kind of guys, and that's the reason why Derek Carr looked all right, but we'll see what's happening though, man. But if we just win, it don't matter how. I'm not saying anything bad about Derek Carr for the rest of the year, though, bro. And I'm on a root for him.
With that being said, we got to talk about these horns, bro. Because you called it. You said that we was not going to struggle with Michigan, and we did not. We did not struggle. We did not. I told you. I was thoroughly impressed. I'm not going to lie. I was a little slightly intimidated when I looked and seen that sea of yellow. It was just like, man, this is the big house. Like, this is like going into Alabama's house last year, right? And it just feels like Quinn is not phased. He almost enjoys going to somebody else's place and turning it to Texas country. Like the dominance that Texas had, and we made mistakes. We didn't play a perfect game. And our, Blue got hurt for a minute, which our other running backs were spectacular. And this is, mind you, after our starting two running backs were injured. You know what I'm saying? So to see this pure dominance, like, it was impressive to say the least, bro.
I told you. This is the way. The reason why I thought that was going to be the case, it happened the way I thought, is because I think that while Michigan had their championship run, the year before that they were solid as well. But Michigan just even with Jim Harbaugh there, they didn't necessarily just reload, right? They had some good guys that had been around for a while, and it took them some time. So I thought that offensively that they would take a big step back, because I never thought that they had, like, we know for sure we got Manning coming up, right? When Ewers is gone. So I don't think Michigan had that. And when I saw Michigan struggle against Fresno State, I said, you know what? Here's the thing I think that I was surprised about. I was more so surprised that Fresno State, for one, Michigan had 13 guys from their team, 13 guys that went to the NFL. That's a lot of talent. And so if you're not reloading up to replace 13. Like I think for every guy that goes to the pros from our team, we got another guy that's ready to come on up in his place that's just as good, right? And I didn't see that from Michigan because Fresno was one of those games where you are supposed to score 30 points.
Mhm.
When they didn't score that, I just didn't think that they had enough to score the 30 they was going to take to beat us. If you couldn't score 30 on Fresno. So, it wasn't exactly how I thought. And listen, I didn't even talk trash to my boy Cinematic because
Yeah.
I expected it. And he never told me, oh, yeah, we going to whoop him. So, shout out to him. But he's the reason why I didn't even have to post much about it because I didn't want to feel like I'm rubbing it in his face at all.
Yeah, I feel that. I will say this before we move on. I think what's interesting to me is because of the fact that we are about to be, commentators are starting to kind of talk about Texas, and I don't want to get the number one spot. I don't want to be number one. I don't want the target. Like the target is already moving towards us. Like we're gonna start getting everybody's best shot. So that's why when we were playing, and I do think this is a huge confidence boost for them, regardless of what you want to say. Michigan won the championship last year, right? So their name still has value. We didn't play, like you said, a Fresno State or a team that we are expected to completely blow out. People, it was kind of 50-50 ish as far as who was going to win that game, which team was going to show up. But you know, I was very proud of the fact that we handled business the way that we did. On the flip side, the other party that joined the SEC, Oklahoma, they they almost gave it up to Houston, bro.
Hey, listen, bro. I don't know what was worse because didn't Oklahoma didn't play that good the week before, right?
Yeah, they did. They blew
Okay.
out. Yeah,
Okay, but here's the thing. The only reason why people aren't talking about Oklahoma is because Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, bro. Paid them boys like almost $1.5 million to come up there and whoop them. But I think, bro, that listen, I'm not going to say I don't know how good Houston is. I know that Houston a couple of years ago was up there, right?
right.
So they may got some guys left over. But it's still Oklahoma, right?
No. So Houston looks like a mid-grade Big 12 team. Like they, you know what I'm saying? I like if you say who's going to be the Big 12 champion, Houston's name is not coming up, right? They are a mid-grade team at best for the Big 12 because they literally lost that game. They ended up getting a safety. You got to think the game, it was 14-12. All they had to do was kick a field goal and they would have won because OU didn't score the rest of the time. Instead, they got a safety hit on them. So that gave them 16-12. And that's what the score was at the end of the game.
Let me tell you who I'm more disappointed in, bro. Right? I'm so disappointed in Baylor, bro. I'm so disappointed because here's the thing about it. The field is open for the taking. And what I think is crazy to me is that I can't tell if Baylor just doesn't have the players or if Baylor's coaching is just that bad. Now, their coach that they have is supposed to be like one of those program builders, but they've taken a step back now. This looks like 2 years in a row that I thought that they would be. I thought that Baylor last year was supposed to contend to win the Big 12, and they look horrible. And already they look horrible. Way more though, man. And maybe it's Baylor, so maybe someone outside of the Big 12 and who's not familiar with just like, oh, it's Baylor. No, I thought Baylor legitimately was supposed to be a much better team for the last 2 years, though, bro, because they won the Sugar Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah.
What we doing? The homeboy Sherman was doing the jet sweep. He was killing it clean, doing his thing. And I thought for sure, bro, like, come on, man. Baylor got some dogs on their team, though, bro. And it just makes me wonder if they don't either got the quarterback or they don't have the coaching.
Yeah. Any other game,
Amen,
any other college game because OSU, they were down to the wire with Arkansas. They ended up winning in double overtime, which that to me wasn't that big of a deal because for them, they're playing an SEC team, right? So the
Yeah.
fact that they found a way to win, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal if had OU lost.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. A win's a win. Like I'm not gonna criticize somebody for winning a game ultimately. I'm not gonna nitpick it though. But other than that though, man, no, bro. I think that Notre Dame is one of it gives you overrated vibes. Gives you very overrated vibes. They won some rings years ago that all these Notre Dame fans are still riding on. Jerome Bettis ain't coming through that door. They got some old rings though, bro. Their fans are faithful. Old championships though, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. What else we got, bro?
Listen, did you? I know you probably know this as a Star Wars fan though, bro. Just off of sports, bro. You said James Earl Jones, bro.
Yeah. This one did not hit me like that. Reason why is I think that at 93 years old, that he lived a long, full life, has had a very successful career, is recognizable in so many different facets, whether you know him as Mufasa, whether you know him as Akeem's dad in Coming to America, whether you know him from Darth Vader's Star Wars, you know, James Earl Jones, that iconic voice and the life that he lived. Um, yeah, obviously I'm always saddened to hear it because that's somebody's loved one. And that's hard to let go of a person. But I'm saying that one, it was more peaceful to me. Like I know that man lived a full life and 93 years old. That yeah, that it was respect.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It was like not that you were ever cool with somebody passing, but this was one that it was just like, all right, I'm gonna appreciate him, right? Because of of everything that you think about that though, right? I mean, even for us though, in our 40s, I think that would mean that if he died at 93, by the time we came on the scene, he was already in his 50s. So he was already, you know what I'm saying, the elder statesman back then. So it's like to see somebody who's already old when you're young then become that much more of an older person. Yeah, I get what you're saying though, man. It's one of those things where I hope that we continue to see him be celebrated. So of course I'm sure that when it comes time for the BET awards and all these other things that they'll have their tributes and everything. But I do hope that that you continue to that we continue to see those kind of things. But I'm gonna be honest with you though, it wasn't like shocking. I wasn't caught off guard. It was almost like, yeah, bro been around. He been doing his thing, and at some point, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna happen.
And I wouldn't even be surprised if some people were like, "Oh, I didn't know he was still alive." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because not again, much respect to James Earl Jones and his family, but it's one of those we have seen his name pop up on the Snoops, like
yeah.
with him, Bruce Willis, we've seen a lot. So yeah, definitely unfortunate, but grateful that we have all of this legacy and work that we can still live through with him.
Do you want to see him have? Well, let me ask you this: would you rather see him have a Star Wars or Coming to America themed funeral?
Probably Coming to America. Although the problem is, right, we watched him have an on-screen death in Coming to America, and it
Yeah,
whack. If anything, I would more so, kind of, even though like it's weird because if you really look at it, Lion King and Coming to America in that same realm, so I would want more of that. But if we don't at least hear, then that it's wasted. Like it's
I
gotta
didn't
be.
hear it. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. I can tell you playing something, but I can't hear them. But listen,
It's the
I
breathe
think
from Vader.
I think what would be real dope, man, is if he had a funeral, right? If he had multiple wakes and he had one that was if he had one that was almost like a Star Wars, like a Darth Vader black coffin, the red light trimmed around it that gave you all of like it would almost be like it would almost be like if on Star Wars, if you know how like on Star Wars they had the deaths of I think it was like who died on there and they had this big celebration of their death. It was one of the young girls.
I don't know
Who
so
died?
Leia died, and I know they portrayed that on screen. So that was kind of a moment.
I
Because
would want to see them do. I would want to see them do where if you had someone who was a Sith Lord died in action, and it would be like if the Republic was celebrating him, and it would be all the way that you would do that if he died in action, and then you would basically say, "Oh, we're having this funeral for the biggest Sith Lord." Though that would be epic, though, bro.
yeah, yeah. Salute to that family. In the realm of celebrating life, we did have Pastor Reed's funeral over the weekend. Huge homegoing celebrations. Friday night there was something. Saturday it was something. Obviously Facebook has been on tribute for quite a while since the passing was announced. uh my parents came up and we were able to watch or listen to the funeral, uh, because they had so many measures in place for the people that could actually be at the actual event. But still, you could feel it all over this state and city, the impact that he had. So I think
Yeah.
uh that was a great homegoing celebration, and it's just one of those things like, man, it's hard to believe that he is not here. And just what was real dope though, DJ, his grandson, was the one that eulogized him, and I thought it was a big stage. Because when the way Pops operates, he people affectionately call him Pops because he has sons in the ministry. Like if you came up under him, you are one of Pops's sons. So of course, I'm sure the conversation was like, well, who gonna eulogize him? Because I got the sauce now, I got the juice or whatever. And the fact that through all of that, and it was DJ, to eulogize your grandfather, and this iconic person who is known internationally, it was dope that he got that rub.
Yeah. No, listen. I can't. This is gonna sound. I'm happy for the city. I'm
Mhm.
happy how I saw everybody show the proper respect for him, though, bro. So it's like when I say happy, I mean that in a good way. I think that most people will always remember all of their most fondest memories of him. I think that most people will always hold him in the very highest of regards. But I am happy to see him being remembered. And so when I say that, I think that Oklahoma is doing him the right way.
Oh yeah. Because even the Governor Stent ended up flying the flag at half staff on the day of his funeral. Like, you know, and I didn't get to hear exactly what he did, what he deemed, like if this was John Reed Day or whatever the case may be. But just the like you said, the fact that the city was like in mourning. So it was such a big deal, and such a because he was also listed as an activist too. Like when Jesse Jack, I mean, Pat Reed had been to jail several times, and I ain't talking about in that way, in jail for standing up for the right thing, being an activist. So he
Yeah.
was definitely a big name in the city and in the state.
Yeah. Well, I do like that while there seems to be there's always the stories that you don't hear and things that you don't know. I still like the fact that he still has his family around who can go ahead and tell those stories, right? So it's like, I can certainly appreciate that. A lot of times, man, you might have somebody in your family pass away, especially at our age. We're getting to that age now to where some of the folks that are passing away, though, bro. And I think that it's still very cool that you still have other people that were around that personally knew him that could still go ahead and keep telling those stories, though, man. So,
Yeah,
yeah, like I said,
absolutely.
very happy the way that everybody represented them, though.
Right.
Yeah.
What you got up for the week?
Man, for the week, man, I'm trying to wrap up some more studio work and might be sliding out to Savannah this weekend. It's supposed to rain here. That's the one thing that's kind of whack. But we're pretty much like the one thing about Atlanta is that we're right there on the corner of hurricane season. So probably right around the southeast. There's always rain around this time though, man. And so it's gonna be probably some of that though. So I'm hoping that it at least clears up enough for me to have some good time this weekend. But other than that though, during the week I'm back in the lab though, man. I'm trying to get everything lined up for this release though, man. That's about it though. What about you?
Bruh. So this weekend starts my run at the state fair Saturday evening at 6:30. I'll be out at the state fair. I got a 30-minute set, and so that's fastly coming up. And then of course, then Tuesday is the second date that I have, and that is 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So very, very excited for the opportunity. I always love this time of year. I love that I get the opportunity to do the state fair, and the fact that I'm getting 2 dates this year. So I did my ticket giveaway Friday. So 2 of the winners have theirs. I'm just waiting to get in contact with the third person to get them their set of tickets. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But it's crazy because the Soul Bowl is this weekend too, which is Millwood versus Douglas, and that's going to be a huge game. So Layla is the captain of the dancers for the Douglas Trojans. So she'll be out there doing her thing, representing, and then I'll be getting ready for my concert that particular day. So yeah, recorded some new music. So super duper excited about that. Yeah, just trying to basically doing like you, man. Once this state fair is over, I'll be locking down music because I gotta get all my music done by September in order for me to put it in the system for October and have it ready for November release.
Yeah. I'm right there. It seems like we're gonna be dropping back to back almost though, man.
We are. I knew you were dropping in October, so I wasn't trying to step on that. And yeah. So yeah. Looking forward to that.
Hey man, let's go ahead and get these people home, man.
All right, yo. We appreciate y'all for rocking with the Slash Brothers from ATL to OKC, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
It doesn't matter what your name
The
is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Yep.